Let's go.
Catch the latest news on our website tribune.net.ph and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. The Daily Tribune is one with the nation in facing the COVID-19 crisis, and in line with this, the Daily Tribune digital edition and press reader is now available for free online. You can also download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS users and Google Play for Android users to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune is also inviting everyone to join its community Viber Katribu to get updates on the freshest and hottest news and entertainment stories of the day. Tarcito emoticons are also available on our community Viber. Just click on the link in this video to join.
Hello everyone and Katribu. I'm Dina Ventura.
I am Jojo Silvestre.
And welcome to Tribune Now
Spotlight. We have a very special guest today.
Yes.
He's young, he's good looking, and he's brilliant.
Runs in the family, I think.
Yeah. He finished his, well, first, he attended boarding school in England, but before that, he studied in Ilocos Norte. Would you believe that? He did. He finished his undergrad degree at the City University, London, where he majored in international politics. He earned his master's degree in development studies from the London School of Economics and Political Science. Now, here's the interesting part. While in college, he earned extra money as a DJ for parties.
Wow.
He loves music.
I see.
Our guest is the eldest of the three sons of Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Lisa Araneta Marcos. Today, he works for his uncle as one of his staff.
He is the
Deputy Speaker
Martin Romualdez.
Martin Romualdez, yes. So may I present to you this afternoon Ferdinand Alexander Araneta Marcos, also known to everyone, his million followers as
Sandro Marcos.
Hi, Sandro.
Hi, Sandro. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon to all the viewers. And once again, thank you for the invite to have me speak on your show. It's truly an honor. And just before we get started, it's Majority Leader, Martin Romualdez.
It's majority.
Thank you for the correction.
Okay, yeah.
We get so confused with all these titles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Naimbag nga malim. Do you still remember your Ilocano?
basit laing.
Aba, magaling pa rin. No?
What I heard is laing, which is Bicolano. Okay, anyway.
That's something else. Anyway, let me ask the first question. Let's talk about your parents because we're always interested in Bongbong and of course also Lisa.
Yes. A lawyer.
So who are you closer to, your father or your mother, Sandro?
That's a good question. I think I'm closer to each of them in different ways. Like I think any son is, there are certain things I'll go to my dad for, or there are certain things I'll go to my mother for. But naman, I'm not, I shouldn't be picking favorites between the two. My mom always likes to joke that I'm her best, that she's my best mom, and my dad is, my best father. But I appreciate everything that they've done for me and everything that they continue to do for me so far. And I still have plenty to learn from them. So I'm looking forward to that. But in terms of who I'm closer to, it's hard. It's hard. When it comes to maybe, the more serious, I guess, life decisions and asking for advice, it's my dad. But when it comes to the more lambing side of,
Mom.
I guess you could say sucking up or being cariño, that's my mom.
Maganda naman pala. It's balanced.
Balance.
But in what way are you like your father? And in what way are you like your mother?
I guess I'm more like my father in the sense that he likes to. No, I wouldn't say naman he's more serious, but he takes life in a more logical way, and I guess that's more to do with how we both got brought up in the UK and in boarding school.
Yeah.
It kind of gives you a certain outlook on life and teaches you certain things that only going to boarding school can teach you. So I think in that sense, I would say more like my father. But people say I got the Araneta genes instead of the Marcos genes. So there's also that in terms of looks.
So how's the family today, given the pandemic and all that? Of course, your father got sick, no?
Yeah. How was that?
Yes. I mean, thankfully, my dad is already healthy now.
That's good.
I haven't been able to see them that often. They're not actually in Manila. They went to Ilocos because obviously it's much safer there. There are much less cases. So I go to see them when I can. It's actually his birthday on Sunday, so I'm going to be seeing him this weekend. Thankfully, after a while. I do miss them, but I have to stay in Manila for work. But like I said, I go to them when I can.
Okay. Are your brothers also in Ilocos, or are they working here in Manila also, like you?
One of my brothers, Simon, is in Ilocos with them also, yes. And Vincent, our bunso, is in Singapore, which is where he works and goes to school. So he's been there since the start of lockdown. We actually tried finding a way or seeing if it was possible for him to come back, but given the circumstances, medyo mahirap din eh.
But we just all have to be careful. And speaking of Ilocos Norte, what do you like about the province? You spent your younger years there.
About the province of Ilocos. Well, it's home.
Yes.
And it always will be, regardless of whether I go abroad or I work here in Manila. Home will always be home. But if I had to pick one thing, I would have to say the food. Whenever I visit, you'll always catch me eating empanada 24/7. So I have to say that probably is my favorite thing whenever I go there. Is just to eat all the Ilocano food. Just reconnect to home in general. It's always a nice feeling.
How much of an Ilocano are you?
How much of an Ilocano am I?
The food that he eats.
No, like in her personality.
I mean, traditionally being an Ilocano person, they're seen as very serious people, very, I guess, reserved. So in that sense, I wouldn't call myself Ilocano. Maybe it's the Araneta side of the family that I'm a lot more extroverted and I guess talkative and makulit, as my mom would like to say. But in terms of being Ilocano, I don't know. My people at work call me Kuripot, which is what Ilocanos are known for. So maybe that's part of it.
That part.
Maybe that's the Ilocano part that I got. But I think that's for other people to judge rather than myself.
Yeah.
But I see President Marcos in him.
I know. I was looking at your picture, Sandro, and you really look like your mom. But right now, I'm looking at you and I can see your Marcos side.
Yeah.
I think it's the hair or the face shape.
Also the hair, huh? Kasi yung kasing grandfather niya fixed his hair that way, di ba?
Yes. So, So,
Sandro, you were supposed to run for vice governor. Why did you?
Was I?
There were rumors about you taking the place of your late uncle. No, because he passed away. Well, there
First,
were.
I've heard of it, honestly.
Really? Oh.
I really genuinely had no plans. I did hear that there were rumors around the province that I was going to run for whatever said position, but I really had no plans to do so. I had just moved back from London, so it wouldn't have been
Yeah.
I guess inappropriate naman is the word to have lived abroad for so long and then have a
local
political position
Yeah.
with the responsibility of taking care of constituents in a country that you haven't really reconnected with.
Yeah.
So I guess that was part of my decision. And like I said, I really had no plans. I was just looking to, I guess, get reacquainted with being back home.
Yeah, no. But do you see yourself going into politics like that? Have you reconnected enough, you think?
Well, he's been eating empanada.
I know. No, I'm really curious kasi parang it's in your blood and people, I think, expect something of that.
But I think my parents have always been very, have emphasized the fact, regardless of, people in your family being in positions they're in, to always sort of, carve out your own course in life. So there's no pressure from anyone or anything to go into whatever. And my dad always says, whatever you do, just do it well. And with regards for what the plans that I have, wala naman akong plano tumakbo so far. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Elections are in 2 years, but as of now, that's not really something I'm thinking about. I'm honestly happy working here in the office of Majority Leader Modest, and I'm learning a lot, and that's all I can ask for.
We were talking earlier about your Araneta side and your Marcos side, and my question is, what do you find more intimidating? Which side? But before you answer that, let's pause for a short break. And we're back. Welcome back to Spotlight. We're here with Sandro Marcos, who we ask about the two sides of his
being
family,
a Marcos,
being a Marcos and being an Araneta.
Which is more intimidating for him.
Is it intimidating to begin
At all?
with? Oh, diba? So please, would love to hear your answer.
Which is more intimidating? I'm going to answer with another question for the both of you.
Oh, no.
So why do you think being either would be intimidating?
Well, the name.
Yeah,
The
one has
heritage.
got to be as brilliant as Ferdinand Marcos, or maybe as beautiful as Lisa Araneta. I don't know how you'd look at it.
I mean, honestly, it's. I guess it's just the way that you see it. It's not. To me, it's not so much as an intimidating thing, but it's more of an opportunity. And being where I'm from and having the luck that I've had, whether it's because of my parents or their parents before them, I consider it nothing to be. I don't consider it anything to be intimidating. More, like I said, an opportunity that one needs to grab, and an opportunity that. There are certain benefits that you get in life because of where you're from. And I think those should be capitalized upon. So rather than be intimidated by it, I think it's more appropriate that, because of where I'm from or because of who my parents are, the opportunities that they give you, they should be, you should grab the bull by the horns, so to speak.
That's right.
And despite that, still be able to carve out your own course in life. and make your own way and make your own name in whatever profession or passion that might be.
Yeah, speaking of that, no?
Yeah, but do you feel that there are expectations
Yeah.
from either side of the family?
Not from my parents.
Okay,
Very cool
yeah.
yata sila.
Oh.
But I've gotten that question before, and they seem to think naman that my parents are always egging me on to do this and do that. But like I said, they've always been steadfast in the saying that we'll support whatever you do so long as you do it well and you excel in the field of whatever you choose. So there's no there's no pressure coming from that. In saying that, they do emphasize naman, whatever you do it well.
Anyway, whatever you decide on, I think you're very well prepared.
Thank you.
That's so much because of his education.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us about
Life.
your education in England. How was it like from boarding school all the way to graduate school? Did you have to wash your own plates and
Cook your own food.
yeah, and then fix your bed? How was it like in boarding school?
It was fun. Na-culture shock lang ako ng konti nung nagsimula ako. Kaso lang, when I first started, you can imagine, 11-year-old boy from Ilocos going straight to the UK. I had to learn a lot very quickly, but it equipped me well for what was to come. And boarding school was like having a sleepover with your friends every night, but going to class and essentially spending every day with them. And I'd be lying if I said my friends in boarding school are now aren't going to be my friends for life, because they really are. And every time I go back to the UK, it's as if I only saw them yesterday when we catch up. And it's probably going to be like that for the duration of time, because I spent such a large part of my life with them every day. So I always took it as a very good experience. More than anything, it teaches you to be independent, which I don't think is something I could have gotten here. Yeah.
Yeah, diba?
Yeah. So how was college? Why did you choose that educational institution? What was good about
sorry?
it? What's good about what's the name of the school? City College?
The City University of London.
City University of London.
I
What's
mean, it's
special?
part of it's one of the good schools in London, and I was always my plan was always going to study in London. I never wanted to study in the US. It was always going to be London for me. And the course that they had on international politics, which is what my undergrad was on, I found to be very interesting, which is why I ended up choosing that school. And then for my master's, I went to the London School of Economics, which, of course, is regarded as one of the best schools in the country, if not the world. So I saw it as a huge opportunity and a huge chance to learn from some of the best and brightest minds that education had to offer.
Was it easy?
No, it was not. Especially na nga my master's, I was in the library maybe from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Bale, araw-araw na. Doon ako nag-aaral. And it was tough, but also it made the experience all the more rewarding. And I took out a lot out of it. I put a lot in, but I got a lot out of it also.
Yeah. Your dad also went to school in London, right? So did he give you any advice how to survive that kind of life?
No naman. He went to the same boarding school as me that he sent us to. He did not. He went to school in the UK. He didn't give me any advice naman. I think it's one of those things that it's you only learn certain things by doing it yourself and going. Advice can only take you so far.
That's right.
Was being a Marcos an issue?
No, not at all. I think that's partly why I loved studying abroad so much, was that it allowed me to take a step back from all of that and kind of just, it allowed me to be my own person, and I didn't have to think about that aspect. Being from a certain family, whatever, I could just be, Sandro,
Yourself, yes.
from the Philippines with my friends, which was nice. It was refreshing, and it was something I definitely needed during that time in my life.
Okay.
So, why did you specialize in development studies?
Why did I specialize in development studies? I've always been interested in that sort of field. I thought the London School of Economics was the perfect place to do it. I think it was second in the world at that time, next to Harvard. So it was just a great opportunity for me, and I've just always been interested in that side of the academe and human development, and sort of just the economic side of thinking. And I still make an effort up to now just to keep up to date with everything and see what the latest theories are and what the latest books are with regard to those topics. It's something that's definitely equipped me to look at the world in a different way that I otherwise would not have if I hadn't taken that course.
What's your prescription for this country? Do you think we should build, and build some more? What's your idea of a good development strategy for today?
What is my a good development strategy?
Yeah.
I think given the COVID-19 experience that we're having, not just nationally but worldwide, infrastructure is very important. But you can also see now that build is taking somewhat of a step back in order to prioritize other measures that are focused on health and human development. I mean, if you look at development as a subject in itself, you have the economic side and you have the human side. And a lot of the emphasis now, obviously, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, is stemming from sort of health investment, and essentially saving MSMEs, which are sort of the backbone of our economy.
Right.
So as much as build still is important, and you can see that the administration is taking steps to focus on that, despite the pandemic, I think in the coming years, the emphasis on human development and investment in sort of health, training, and I know it sounds like a cliche, but it really is important to, in adjusting to the new normal.
Yes.
I think that's what's going to take, a step forward right now, especially in the coming years, or at least until a vaccine is developed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of the new normal, let's talk about your life in Congress, your work in Congress. But before you answer that, let's take another break.
Ang Philippine Offshore Gaming Operators o POGO ay isang legitimate business entity na nagbibigay serbisyo sa offshore gaming para lamang sa mga manlalarong nasa abroad sa pamamagitan ng internet. Ang mga serbisyong handog nito ay katulad ng casino games at sports betting na pwedeng laruin kahit wala sa casino. Sa Pilipinas, walang POGO operators. Tanging POGO service providers lamang dahil nagaganap ang mga laro sa labas ng bansa.
And we're back on Spotlight with Sandro Marcos. So Sandro, you're gonna tell us about your work in Congress. How's that going?
Congress? What do you guys want to know?
Well, what do you do for your for as the
You're the chief of staff, or
yeah?
Oh no.
For the
no, I'm not the chief. I have much to learn before I get to that level. No, I work as his political affairs officer, who works under the chief of staff. So the chief of staff is my boss, and I started working here. It's been about a year, almost a year already.
Bilis lang.
So I essentially just help him in the daily tasks and learn as much as I can about the legislative process and assist where I can. The tasks are varied, and especially now it's budget season, so the hours are long. So sorry na lang kung mukhang napapagod ako ng konti. it's been quite taxing. We've been leaving the office mga 10, 11 p.m. some days, and it's going to be like this for the next month. So it's been tiring, but it's fulfilling. It's a fulfilling thing to be doing, and it's even more fulfilling when you see the difference that you're making.
So you've been going to Congress every day, you're saying, even during this pandemic?
Yes. Well, not during ECQ. During ECQ, it was obviously work from home. But when they allowed, the skeletal workforce to return, then we started going back.
So do you get to do anything outside of work? Because it seems your days are so full, especially now. Like on ordinary days.
Not recently. I haven't been able to do anything. So, focus on work muna. Ang dami pang kailangan gawin dito.
Yeah.
So it's not that I mind. And, especially now that we're in quarantine at, nandito yung pandemya, there's not really much to do naman besides go back home. So it's better that I spend that time in the office actually, doing things and being active.
Yes.
So that by the time I get home, I don't get bored or hindi ako naiinip sa bahay or do this, essentially do nothing at home. So I'm enjoying it naman.
Okay, but you like music, diba? You're into that. Do you still listen to a lot of music? Do you perform? Do you play any
DJ.
instruments?
Do you DJ in your room?
Do you DJ in your room?
Not so much. Like you mentioned in the intro, when I was in college, to make money on the side, because like I said, Ilocanos are known for being kuripot, so my dad didn't exactly give me the biggest allowance in the world, no matter how much I begged him. So I had to find other ways to make money. So I've always been into music. I've been DJing since I was 11 years old.
Wow.
So that's 15 years already. Wow, that's weird to think. But recently, I've just been focused on work. I still love music. I get that from my parents, my dad especially. They both love music, and in terms of what I love, it's really, my taste is quite eclectic. I listen to everything, from rock to disco to pop to, it's really varied. But that's my, I guess you could say, when I do get home and I need to de-stress, that's what I'll do. I'll put on a record or just play some music to wind down.
Yeah. What's on your playlist right now? Diba? What's your pandemic playlist?
Pandemic playlist? I don't have one. I should make one actually.
Yeah.
That's a good suggestion. I'm gonna make one and share it with you guys. But yes, go ahead.
You can work with us on Sundays if you need extra money.
Hindi talaga, Jojo.
Besides,
So, napaka-smooth mo naman, ha?
I'm sure on Sundays you're just relaxing because apparently you don't have a love life. Or do you have a love life?
Busy talaga.
Georgia, napakagaling naman ang segue mo.
From an offer to love life.
No, I currently, sounds like a cliche, but we're working too hard to have love lives right now. So focusing on myself muna and just enjoying that part honestly, and I'm happy where I am right now.
Yeah, but what kind of girl would you like to marry or,
To date. Ikaw naman, marry agad.
Pwede bang date muna?
Pwede bang date lang?
Kind of girl I'd like to date. Anyone who's half as brilliant as my mother.
Wow.
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, wow.
She's watching this, so sumisip-sip lang ako.
Ayan na.
Oo nga, lawyer nga mo.
Oo, ang hirap pala nun. Ang taas ng
But
expectation.
I don't have a certain type naman eh. So long as they're easygoing and intelligent and kind. I'm not too fussy naman.
Okay.
Okay, so
But to my mom, that's another story.
Oh.
But that's a better question to ask to my mom.
she
What about
decides.
your dad? Is he like, sige lang, mag-girlfriend ka lang, ganun ba siya?
No, my dad is okay. I think it's more my mom. But I mean, I guess that's part of it naman eh. Any mother would be protective.
Of course. Lalo na,
Oh.
baby ka niya, eldest. Ganun
Favorite?
yun eh.
Are you the favorite?
I have a favorite. Maybe you should ask her that. That's not for me to answer.
Oh, nalaman. But I'll ask you about your your favorites. Your all-time movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
My all-time movie.
Favorite.
Wow.
Oo.
My favorite all-time movie, I have two. Shawshank Redemption and Goodfellas.
Nice.
yeah.
Stephen King.
Yeah.
Okay. How about actor and actress?
Actor and actress. Wow. Not my favorite actor, but he just passed away, so I think it's fair to give a shout out. You know, Chadwick Boseman, I think made a huge difference in the film industry. Favorite actress? Either Jude Dench or yeah, let's go with that.
Dame Judy Dench.
Yeah, of course.
Dame Judy Dench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, music. What kind of music do you want to listen to now?
Now, what kind of
Yeah, what comes to mind?
Wala pa akong pandemic playlist eh. But usually when I get home, anything that's happy, anything that makes me feel good, nothing too sentimental. I'm happy naman with. Yeah, but my love for music really stems from my parents. My dad would always play me Eric Clapton and Elton John as a kid. So that's sort of how I got into it.
Okay. So would you say that they're your favorites too? The Eric Clapton and Elton John?
No naman. My dad always says the music that I listen to isn't real music. But okay, it's okay. I think that's a generational taste thing. But in terms of favorites that I'm listening to now, ang dami eh.
Or any...
The Weeknd, I think, is someone who I've been listening to a lot. His new album's fantastic. He just had a big performance with the VMAs. But yeah, I think maybe my favorite right now is him.
Okay.
Sandro, someone just called up and they want to find out.
Phone-in question.
Yeah. Would you date a fan?
Would I date a fan? Yeah, why not?
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Why not? I'm not fussy naman.
Oh, okay.
You know, if you, how do I put this? If you like someone, if you're attracted to someone, that naturally makes you a fan of them, does it not? So, you know, the term fan is so loosely used that it construed as anything.
He has a point.
What if the fan were a boy?
Hala.
I'm sorry?
What if the fan were a boy?
No, friends na lang. Friends na lang.
Okay.
No dating.
No dating.
Let's just be friends.
Yeah. So let's go back to the favorite
Yeah,
naman.
yeah.
You mentioned empanada
Yeah, food.
earlier, but what other food do you love?
Bagnet.
Any kind of food. Fish and chips.
Really cold. When I was in England or in boarding school, then it would be cold and rainy. Lamig kasi dun eh. The first thing I would look for was, you know, a hot bowl of sinigang. So to me, that's my all-time favorite.
But
My all-time favorite. I'll have it.
But how could you have
Even
seen
now, I'll
that?
have it.
Ah, really? Oh,
What's up?
sarap.
Oh, did you cook it yourself? Because I don't think that would have been easy to find in England.
When I was in college, natuto ako. Kasi hinahanap ko palagi. And the Filipino restaurant was so far from my apartment. Natuto ako tuloy.
Clothing brand. What?
Favorite clothing brand?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm useless when it comes to fashion. Whatever my mom gives me to wear.
Okay. Favorite destination.
Parang I
okay.
remember that when we interviewed his father,
Yeah.
Bongbong,
What did he say?
Parang he said the same thing, na parang whatever he's given, he'll wear it or something. Was that him?
Yeah, we're not naman that fussy when it comes to clothing. Neither is my mom actually. I mean, if you look at my wardrobe, Um, it's really, it's really basic stuff that my mom is. If my mom doesn't force me to go shopping with her or get new clothes, I'll wear the same thing for the next 10 years until it breaks. Same with my brothers.
Okay.
Oo,
Simple
paano?
lang silang ano.
Favorite
Very nice.
destination?
Destination
Yeah.
to travel.
My favorite destination
Here and abroad.
here, I would have to say, is still Palawan. I went to El Nido last year. It was still the most beautiful place I've ever been to in the Philippines.
Yes.
Abroad, my favorite place to go to would probably be Spain. I love Spain.
What about Spain? The rain? What?
In
I
Spain.
love the culture. I love the food. I love the people. Everything about it. It's refreshing to go to.
Have you thought of marrying a señorita or, you know?
Oh, no. I haven't thought of marrying anyone for that matter.
Ikaw kasi you're already there eh. Still about to date pa lang eh.
His reading list. Ask
Our reading
him.
list. Yes, we would like to know what kind of books you read and the authors you love. What kind of books?
Wow. Books. I don't really read fiction. Like I said, I told you after my master's degree in development studies, those are mostly the books that I focus on now. So I usually read from sort of economists, development thinkers, those kinds of authors. Because I like to keep up to date with some of the stuff that they're writing. So I make it a point to always read some of the stuff. My old professors, every time they come out with a book, I'll
Read it.
sort of read it and buy it.
What's the name of this guy? Does one still read him? Gunnar Myrdal?
I'm sorry?
What's the name of that guy? He's a Nobel awardee. What is it? Gunnar Myrdal? I'm trying to
A
remember.
Nobel Prize
Yeah.
for
Anyway,
Nobel Prize.
who's your favorite economist?
Who's my favorite economist? Wow.
They're
That's a
all
hard
good.
question. Maybe let's go with his name is Joseph Stiglitz. He actually won a Nobel Award also
Okay.
for
Okay.
economics. Yeah,
Okay.
I just finished one of his books on the U.S. and sort of just the global economy. And a lot of what he said is actually very relevant now during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Economy
Yeah,
talaga
yeah,
suffered.
yeah.
Eh. So Sandro, where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
10 years from now, that's such a hard question because so much can happen.
Within
Look
1 year
now,
na.
now, who would have thought that we'd all be
Yeah.
quarantining for what 7, 8
Oh.
months?
Oo nga eh.
It's hard. I don't know where I'll be in 10 years' time. I just hope that, like I said, with my parents, I'll be excelling in whatever I decide to pursue and making a difference wherever I can.
Very nice. So, do you think your father will be president of the Philippines? Is that something you think about? Like, a lot of
Hard
people
question
wonder
to
that
answer.
eh.
Ask anyone that's in public service, the presidency, it's destiny yun eh. You can't decide on that. You can't plan on that. If it happens, it happens. I just know that whatever he pursues or whatever he decides to do in the coming election, me and my family will be there full support.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
yeah.
good. Yes. And what would you like to tell the younger people today about the world we live in right now, diba? It's so different. So much has changed from the time your parents were growing up.
He would not know.
Yeah, so now, yeah nga, no,
Oo,
diba?
oo.
Yung
Yeah, yeah.
situation now. What would you like to tell them? What growing
Young
up in
people.
As in,
yeah.
I guess, do you mean by advice for other
Yeah.
people my age?
Yeah,
In what-
to the youth your age.
Yeah. Yeah. What would you like to tell us?
I guess that if there's one piece of advice I could give you what's happening now is to, when you're my age, I've learned the most by being uncomfortable. not naman in the traditional sense, but by putting myself in situations in which I can learn from the most. That's why I came into Congress, because I knew nothing about it. And I think it's the situations in which you have the hardest time you come out of with the most, the most, I suppose, utility, we call it, of having gained from that experience. So I guess if there's one thing I could say, is that if at this age, just put yourself in as many uncomfortable situations as possible, because that's where you learn the most from.
Sandro, what would you like to tell your mom, and then what would you like to tell your dad? But first, your mom.
What would I like to tell my mom? Well, first of all, to my mom and my dad, I miss you both dearly. Sorry I can't be with you in Ilocos, but work calls. If I had to tell my mom something individually, it's a lot, but no, just that honestly, it's just that I miss them and that I wish they would come visit me naman sometime in Manila. But obviously, I understand given the circumstances, and like I said, my dad got COVID, so he knows what it feels like. So sa Ilocos na lang muna sila until things get better.
Yeah.
Your birthday wish?
Birthday wish for your dad.
Yeah.
My birthday wish for my dad is that I hope that, well, by the time he sees this, this is live, no?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
It is live.
Yeah.
But he can watch it later on.
Well, my advanced birthday wish for my dad is that, I hope he has an amazing day. And that, he, I guess the last few years since the elections, maybe he hasn't gone through the easiest time. But I have no doubt that there are great things coming his way. So that is my birthday wish for him.
How do you usually celebrate the birthdays of your parents?
Usually we have a big family dinner with that are the Marcos side of the family, especially for my dad. I mean, now it's a little difficult given the circumstances. So I'm just gonna go see him.
Yes.
Excuse me. And I think we're just gonna have a small celebration, just us, no extended family.
Right.
Because medyo mahirap din eh.
What kind of food do
And
you
of course,
usually eat?
my lola is 92, I want to say. So it's for her to leave the house, medyo delikado din. So I guess via Zoom na lang.
After, ito yung last question ko kasi. I'm so curious because your dad got COVID, diba? And I'm sure that was probably a very scary experience for the family. Yeah, how did you feel about that when it was going on?
Well, he got it in March. So the pandemic, or I don't think it was even classed as a pandemic during that time. I'm not entirely sure, but it was still fairly new. So the whole process was, I wouldn't call it scary, but it was just very touch as you go. Now if you get it, there are processes that you have to follow, and everything is sort of in place now. When my dad got it, everything was still being figured out, and then what to do. The hospitals were full, but there wasn't quite any indication of what medication worked or how they were going to handle it. So I guess it was just that uncertainty that was uncomfortable rather than it being scary.
Okay, I see. Yeah. So we're very happy that he made it through, diba?
Of course.
And we hope he stays healthy.
I really appreciate it. Medyo nagulat na nga ako nung nakita ko yung litrato.
Oh. Yes. So Jojo, I think
That was
very bitin. Kwentuhan pa tayo, but we have to end the show now. And
Please, if you guys will have me back another time, I'll be happy to make kwento some more.
yes, please, with your pandemic playlist.
And maybe by then you'd have a girlfriend already.
Sobrang bilis. So thank you very much, Sandro, for joining us this afternoon. And we'd like to thank all the viewers who joined us also. And we'd like to thank SM for our SM store for our outfits today.
And thank you, Mike. Thank you, Amy.
Yes, for all the help. This is Dina Ventura.
This is Jojo Silvestre.
And this has been Spotlight. Thank you very much.
Tribune Now, Spotlight.
Click, that's it. Never thought self-service can be this slick. Modify plans in a snap, walang hirap. It's a wrap, just tap the app. Now you can check, view, subscribe, renew. Help and support for you. Out with the Ring apps are the in thing. You know what to do. Globe at home and Globe One, all in the Globe app na yan. Self-service and easy to use. Mas okay tayo dyan. Globe at home and Globe One, all in the Globe app na yan. Instant response, no hold time pa, wala nang hintayan. Download Globe at Home and Globe One app, all in the Globe app na yan. Download the Globe One and Globe at Home apps from Google Play Store and Apple App Store now. Download Globe at Home and Globe One app, all in the Globe app na yan.
Bilang bagong mag-asawa, sabay kami natututo sa buhay.
Sabay rin namin inaaral ng mga bayarin sa bahay.
Kahit kami, nagtaka sa biglang laki ng electricity bill namin. Huwag pong mangambang maputulan. Sinisigurado ng Meralco na walang disconnection hanggang September.
Estimated bills lang ang natanggap natin ng March, April at para sa ilan, May. Dahil sa lockdown, isang tabi to para hindi na maguluhan.
Ang May o June ay actual meter reading na. Kung May nagka-actual reading, ibabawas dito ang huling reading bago mag-ECQ. Yan lang po ang ating babayaran hanggang 3 buwang konsumo.
Kung estimated reading sa May at June nagka-actual reading, ibabawas din dito ang huling reading bago mag-ECQ. Yan lang po ang ating babayaran. Hanggang 4 na buwang konsumo, walang labis. Tandaan, kung ano lang na konsumo,
Yun lang ang babayaran.
ako po si Mateo G.
At ako naman po si Sarah G.
G?
G!
Araneta City, home to the country's first indoor shopping mall, the world's original Thrilla, and the first ever Bini Bini pageant. Now a place for your first win, your first catch, your first home, your first big break, your first date, and even your first love.